Hello everyone, this is Jeremy and welcome to episode 19 on Multiblock Madness, where the mana is being made. Let's start today off with something, shall we say, euphoric. Time to clear the pins. Most of the things in here we've done. If we haven't done it, we've probably skipped it to a point where I don't need to leave it pinned. The one thing I want to leave pinned is the iridescent altar. Still want that. But everything else, be gone. That felt good. All right, so with that out of the way, let's move on to making our project for today. So we've unlocked the Iridium chapter. By the way, I like how chapter 5 here, neatly laid out lines, like the diagonals are at, maybe not 45 degrees, but they're at, nice, neat, nice, neat diagonals. And then we get to chapter 6, and it's like, you know what? Screw it. Put it on the page. We'll make the line work. But like this line is 17 pixels thick. That one is like 3 pixels thick. I don't know why. But yeah, this page just kind of looks like a disaster. But before we get there, I want to make our 3D crafter. This thing can do most of the shrinking recipes, so it can largely take over for our miniaturization thing. And while it does use a lot of energy and a healthy chunk of time, I think it's better than, how long does this take? 20 seconds? That's about the same amount of time that it takes to make the thing on the miniaturizer, and it can be sped up through various ways. If we look at this thing, each of these upgrades we make reduces the amount of time the 3D crafter takes. So anyways, I'm pretty sure we now have all the things it takes, materials-wise, to make it. So, hardened Enderium glass. We have to make Enderium. I'm sure there's other stuff in here, but before I get ahead of myself, let's look up Dawn, or modular. This is actually very easy. So it's basically steel and dawnstone in a, not an alloy smelter, but you melt the dawnstone and add it to steel, like 1 ingot of each. So let's encode it. The recipe is going to be an ingot of each. Let's do maybe 16 ingots at a time. And then we'll take the recipe with us, and it goes into our Magma Crucible Fluid Transposer combo box. So that goes into there, and it deposits all the items in here, and then we just route the, let's see, the Dawnstone into the Magma Crucible to melt, and we blacklist it from the Fluid Transposer. And that should be all it takes for us to request some modularium. 100 ingots should be enough, at least for the immediate term. I'll do the thing. I'll withdraw the steel first. Alright, that's fine. Do the thing. Good. And Dawnstone melts basically instantly in a magma crucible. Alright, there we go. Modularium. Except we have to make all the blocks that actually make up the multi-block. And of these, some are easier than others, so that's not bad. Some require the various thermal alloys. So lumium, enderium, and I'm reasonably sure something here will require, what's the one? The redstone and copper one. I forget the name off the top of my head. So let's, I guess, look at what it takes to make those alloys. Took me a little while to find how to make them. I was looking for the normal way, which is you make the dust and then you smelt the dust, but nope, that's not how we do it here. In this pack, generally speaking, the easy way to make it is to first make the base alloy. So that's, in all 3 of these, is an induction smelter step of like 2 things to make a base alloy, and then you inject it with some type of fluid, glowstone, redstone, and ender pearls, depending on which ingot it is. So given that they're actually, all 3 follow the same pattern, and materials wise, actually quite cheap. It's what, tin, tin, silver, glowstone, easy. Signalum is, there's 2 shibuichis. You want the nuclear craft one. Nope. Yes, this one. 1 silver, 3 copper, and what, 5 redstone pieces, easy. And then this one is, here we go. 1 platinum, 3 lead, and an ender pearl. So I think these are the same amounts of materials as it normally takes. It's just different set of machines. For what it's worth, I also do have Enderium and Signalum seeds. So once I make a batch of those, I think I'm free to use these seeds. It's only Lumium that I don't have a seed for, and we'll have to craft on demand. In the process of placing in the recipes into the enemy system, I noticed we are out of molecular assembler slots. So I think I'm going to turn this one tree into a full molecular assembler tree. Right now it's only 12 interfaces worth. I have the other 20 interfaces, and then the other assemblers are crafting. So hopefully one assembler tree, 32 interfaces worth, will last us until we get to Lazy 82. If not, we'll, I guess, just need a second one. These interfaces and assemblers used to be very slow to make, but now that we have overclockers, they're less slow, I suppose. They're still not fast. The assembly machine is still pretty slow, even with overclockers, but at least we're talking, you know, 2-3 minutes to craft everything instead of 2-3 hours. With 32 molecular assemblers total, this is where this button comes in handy. When I go to, you know, drop in new recipes, I just hit it, and bam, it only shows me the 20 that have crafting slots left. So, and just put all the recipes in. A side effect of making the various thermal alloys is that we can now craft our own resident upgrade and conversion kits. So with this, we can upgrade all of our machines to resident tier. If we don't quite have the power to run them all at resident tier, at least not at 100% uptime, but they do, if you upgrade them but don't put the augments in, I believe they don't lose any efficiency, at least not in this version. So we can just, it's effectively a free speed up to do, you know, that. And now this uses, yeah, up to 9600 RF per tick. That's a lot. We're going to need to make more power to power all this stuff in the near future. Talking about power, we now have the ability to make the gas mix compressor as well. Well, almost. And that'll increase our fuel efficiency. Doesn't increase our peak energy output, but it does increase our sustained energy output because we are bottlenecked by our energy production, or our fuel production. All we have to do then is add the gas mix compressor. Wow, I have a lot of mining speed. Add the gas mix compressor to the multi-block. Right now it's basically 1 millibucket, I believe, per RF per tick. 1 millibucket per 1000 RF per tick. If we add this, our fuel efficiency goes up to 19 millibuckets of 26. I mean, it goes up about 50%, which is fine. Anyways, I can also upgrade some of all our steel turbines to HSLA. It's just like some steel alloy that's 99.9% iron. And it's worse than the extreme alloy turbines. I have 5 left. So I'm not going to downgrade those. We can recycle those turbines later if it matters, but I have infinite steel anyways. So yeah, this is, does it tell me how much energy? 1000 RF per tick instead of I think it was 600 for steel, but it's like, it uses 2 pieces of magnesium and iron. So it's basically a free upgrade, which brings our peak production up to 36,000 and change RF per tick. Very nice. Continuing the topic of power generation, let's add a few capacitors to our gas turbine. What that'll do is just give it a significant internal buffer so that when our peak consumption exceeds peak production, we can keep up with the consumption, at least briefly. So the thing accepts up to 10 of these. We need pulverized lead as a thing. I'm actually really surprised this recipe succeeded in generating. We'll have to see if it succeeds in crafting, because it uses all of these thermal capacitors, and Applied Energistics doesn't particularly like crafting these, although I think that's one of the bugs that's fixed by Trousers Edition. We'll find out. So anyways, I guess I need a pulverized lead making machine. There are a lot of pulverizer RME system. That's awkward. I just placed down and upgraded a pulverizer right here, and as I'm flying back, I'm like, wait a second. That looks a lot like a pulverizer. Well, now we have 2, for whatever reason. Future-proofing. So, the crafting plan generates. Alright, let's hit the go button, and please craft, please don't break. This always breaks. I mean, I'm fully expecting it to break. So it's able to make the basic capacitors. Good. And oh, it's crafting the next tier ones. It's not broken. I love you, Trousers Edition Applied Energistics. You're the best. And time for 10 capacitors. So I'm potentially not covering up the turbines because I'm going to want to upgrade them eventually, which is resulting in our generator taking a relatively strange shape. But you know what? it's functional. Now it has a absolutely massive internal buffer, 250 million. I mean, it's not going to be massive forever, but for the time being, it is massive. It'll chew through its biofuel reserves, probably chew through all the fuel reserves for quite a while to fill it up. But once the buffer's full, you know, we only make as much energy as we use. Back to making the 3D printer multi-block. It'll accept any energy input hatch, and the insane part of me wants to just make the highest tier one, except for the fact that it has a... How big is that number? Let's see. Wish you could put some zeros in there, or some commas in there. The 82 million? I mean, 82 million is less than the size of our buffer, right? Let's do it. I've gathered up all the materials for the 3D crafter, and now it's just a matter of building it. Unfortunately, we have the version of modular machinery in this pack that doesn't support blueprint rotating. It's because we have modular diversity as well, and if you want modular diversity, you don't get blueprint rotating. I don't know why that, like, no one's bothered to update the add-on to support modern versions of modular machines, but that's a bit of a shame. Anyways, this is not the direction I want my thing to go. Like, that's the input, that's the controller. I kind of want the controller here, which unfortunately means I'm a fish out of water and I have to build it effectively without using the preview. So we get the preview on the first layer, it'll just never move to the second layer. And no capsule for this one as well. Oh well, suck it up, Jimmy. Build the thing. Maybe I want to move it a little bit further from my pulverizer. Yeah, let's move it like over a couple blocks. Thankfully, the structure is pretty simple, so I can probably figure it out even without the preview. Weirdly, according to the blueprint, all the field projectors point like in the direction of the controller. I also decided to put the controller on this side. So I don't know if that's just the preview being weird, but I'm going to do what it says and see if the multi-block forms at the end. If not, we'll point out the projectors towards each other like I would expect it to go, but we'll see. This version of modular machines is all kinds of buggy. Geez, when we're looking into like the slices view, I can't even go to the top slice. The slice you see here is a slice that I've already built. There's one more above it, right? If we look here, like this is top layer, but I can't zoom into it. I'll just have to figure out what it is from the 3D, I guess. It's not that. It's not... Thankfully, it's not complicated, so like my simpleton brain can figure it out. But if it was, I'd be in trouble. There we go. Put the blueprint in, and it says it's formed, right? Blueprint found, structure found, not enough energy. So we just have to give it energy through there, items into there, and I think I'm just going to immediately hook it straight up to the applied energistic system. I am curious if upgrading these standard casings to reinforced ones will make it faster. The blueprint does say that we can... Where do I show this? Upgrades. The reinforced to advanced casings to make it faster, but I don't know, like, is it just off the screen or does it not? I guess we can... There's one way to test that, right? We take our video settings, bring it to... really eeny beeny tiny text. Oh my gosh, I can't see a thing. Still doesn't fit. All right, I'm out of ideas. No, that's a lie. I still have some ideas. If we just test replacing one, does it say... Yeah, it says it's a 3D crafter. So we can replace all of these with advanced casings. And by advanced casings, I definitely mean reinforced casings. I think if we struggle a bit, we can make the nichrome that goes into the advanced casings, but this requires the void miners. So where is that zombie out here? Underneath. All right, he doesn't exist. Anyways, let's plug her in now. This internal buffer fills up awfully quick. I guess it's because we can transfer the entire universal cable's worth of buffer per tick in energy. How much is that? Like 330,000 RF per tick. And all that energy just comes out of our, what was previously full, 250 million RF buffer. It's good to have large energy buffers. Into the ME interface here go the recipes that we were previously crafting with on the 3D crafter, or on the miniaturization craft or whatever. They're the exact same recipes material-wise, so I shouldn't need to change anything. I've already included the catalyst item, or whatever, the item you throw in there, into these recipes. Unfortunately, one of the things I've been 3D crafting a bunch of is the mana pool. And the mana pool does not appear to actually have a equivalent recipe in the in the 3D crafter, so we'll have to go without. That's all right, because eventually we get the fabulous mana pool, right? Once we have access to elven stuff to get the Rod of the Bifrost, and the fabulous mana pool is functionally the same as a mana pool. It looks fabulous. So it's a cheaper upgrade that we get later. In that case, I'll live without the 3D crafter for now for it. Anyways, let's give it a test. And uh-oh. Why do I not see my iron casing recipe? Is that not one of the ones I put in here? Oh, yeah. So basic machine frame, and this is the machine frame from thermal. All right. Machine frame. Let's order 10 of these. I'm sure we'll go through them. Need glass and refined iron. Can do. I think I've gone through just about every refined iron recipe at some point. So we started with the arc furnace, right, where it's 1 iron, but it uses crushed slate. And then we go to the industrial blast furnace, which just takes out the limestone flux, but it still uses slate. It's 1 iron to 2 refined iron. And at this point, I think I'm going to go to the induction smelter because I have more limestone than I have slate, and I have an effectively infinite supply of iron. So while it's only 1-to-1, it also doesn't use slate. I don't know. It's interesting that there's so many usable refined iron recipes. In any event, they're called casings, chassis. So many similar terms for different things. Frames. And now I don't have sand. All right, I'm pretty sure I have the mystical agriculture essences for sand. 3rd time's the charm. Maybe. Looks good to me. Hit the go button. And let's watch this thing work. There's probably no animation, but it is crafting. So I don't know how much faster it is having swapped out the machine casings, but it is doing its thing. Well, so now for the vast majority of things, I don't have to use my miniaturizer anymore. Now that we've got the 3D crafter, let's move on to making the steel casing. So this is made in our freshly produced 3D crafter. We have to use either electrical steel or vanadium steel. I was just about to say let's make the vanadium steel, but I have infinite electrical steel and I have infinite steel. So let's actually do it just in the 3D crafter so we don't have to do the rack counting recipe. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Mechanism uses a whole lot of steel casings, at least 1 per machine, right? So let's start right off with 10 of them. Material-wise, doesn't look that bad. Our osmium source right now is quite limited. I just have, like, not much left. So let's real quick look into a way to fix that. One way to get it is from the Osmium Seed. Unfortunately, I don't have the good variant of the Osmium Seed. I did loot a Agricraft Osmium Seed, though. This grows into osmium dust, and then, we can craft that into real osmium and then blast furnace it. Unfortunately, these seeds are a bit more annoying to level up because they have to be grown, on gravel over osmium ore, but it beats having to mine osmium, right? These are also crossbreedable, like you can breed into them from technically all of the Agricraft, well, not even technically, definitely all of the Agricraft seeds can be bred into, so they don't have to use your mystical agriculture seed, crafting seeds, whatever. So anyways, I'm going to set up a little thing to level up our osmium seed here. I think I have enough. Check. Yeah, I have enough osmium ore to set up like a chain to grow it. I've swapped up our plant leveling field here such that underneath one side of it there's just a serpentine of ore, and then we can level up the Agricraft seeds here, and I'll leave this other side for regular mystical agriculture seeds. I'm kind of out of useful ones to do, like I'm leveling guardian seeds because that's the type of seeds I have left that are kind of remotely useful. There's a couple others eventually, like I might eventually do the petals for the Botania flowers, although those grow on podzol, which is a little annoying. The crystalline seed here, I believe, is for quartz. Yeah, so a quartz seed would be nice. I don't have a regular quartz seed. I guess I'll pull the ones I might eventually do into the corner or something. But yeah, I'm kind of leveling, like, not terribly, I might eventually like strawberry for food or something. I don't know. But second tier seeds, shall we say. While setting up our plants, I suspect our steel casings have finished. Indeed. So let's get into mechanism. One of the first major goals I want to reach is the altar here. I want to fix my perk tree to be, good, as opposed to good for leveling. So let's work towards that. I also want power at some point, and I think up here is where power is. It's not explicitly listed, but this gets you ethylene, which is an excellent fuel source. But let's start on the bottom side. So we have to make a metallurgic infuser, and based on the recipe, it's pretty easy to make. Let's make a couple. Each one, the way I use my metallurgic infusers, I tend to just keep them passively stocked with their like infused material. So I typically have one for diamond, one for we probably don't need the carbon one much. Maybe skip that one. Chrome, this is new. Way to make stainless. And experience is also new. But the ones in vanilla mechanism are diamond, obsidian, and redstone are the big three. So let's start with 3 metallurgic infusers. Just kidding. Let's go for the full 4 metallurgic infusers. And for each metallurgic infuser, there's a paired enrichment chamber. The thing that goes into this bar here, I think it's called like the infused material or whatever, is more, you get more mileage out of it if you enrichment chamber it before you infuse it. So what I'm going to do is have one ME interface providing all of the raw inputs. So that's redstone, coal, diamond, and there's a mechanism variant of obsidian that we're not making it. So I obviously don't have it yet, so we're not making it. I wonder, how much energy do you use? 100? So I think that's probably more than default mechanism, but not by a tremendous amount. It's not like those nuclear craft machines that drink energy. Anyways, I have item filters such that redstone goes... Wait a second. Insert redstone. That's not the insert. You're not supposed to... You're supposed to be coal. Hold on, I have my filters all wrong. Except... Wait. Coal? Redstone. This one's supposed to be diamond. There we go. Diamond. Alright, let's get that resolved real quick. And then, now that I've managed to contaminate these, I have the wrong material in here. Shift click the dump button to clean it out. That one's right. This one's wrong. Cool. To make this process go a little bit faster, I'm going to upgrade our metallurgic infusers to factories. So, oh, this is weird. I'm holding the green one, right? But it appears to be... I guess the, like, little plug-in bits are red. The next tier one is red. But going to the basic tier... Yeah, I guess it looked the same in the hand because you're looking at the plug-in bits. Never mind. But going to the basic tier, they go from 1 slot to 3. You can do the same thing in the enrichment chambers, but typically one enrichment chamber can feed at least a factory of a couple tiers above. And in this version of Minecraft, the most machines only go up to elite tier, which are 7 slots. But anyways, now that we have this, we can just set up our crafting recipes to, let's look at the redstone one. That's probably the most used one. We have the mechanism circuit. What's it called? Basic alloy? Oh, advanced alloy? There we go. Enriched alloy. So this is 20 points of redstone plus an aluminum ingot. That's different. I think it's normally a iron ingot off the top of my head. So it's okay. We have aluminum seed, so aluminum is equivalent to iron. But if we enrich our redstone, we get 20 points, I believe, out of compressed redstone. Whereas if we just use normal redstone, we only get 10. So basically it's 1/8 or 1/4 of a redstone makes, and 1 aluminum makes an enriched alloy, but the redstone's already automatically supplied. So the recipe just needs to include basically a 1-to-1 recipe. These mechanism control circuits also have the circuit basic or dictionary tag, which means that they should be able to be substituted for... Do you not support or dictionary search? Circuit basic. they should be able to substitute for electronic circuits just about anywhere. There might be a few recipes that don't take electronic, or that take electronic circuits but don't take basic control circuits. Generally speaking, like, I suspect this might be one of them. Nope, that does it too. We'll have to be careful about it. Some tech reborn recipes are picky about that, but this is just easier to make. It's, you know, osmium ingot makes one, whereas this has a few more steps involved. We have to make this plate and then make the wires and yada yada yada. So they're just cheaper variants of the circuits. This is a bigger deal not for the basic ones, but the basics can craft into tier 2 circuits, these advanced circuits, and these advanced circuits substitute for advanced electric circuits, and even on the next tier, elite circuits substitute for data control circuits, and ultimates, no, those don't substitute for each other. They're just different. Here's another difference for what this pack does differently in mechanism. Normally reinforced alloys are made from basic alloys, but now it's made from platinum, which it's one less step because you don't have to infuse, you know, infuse a basic alloy or infuse an advanced alloy, then infuse a reinforced alloy. It still only uses 1/8 of a diamond too, so in a sense, this is a cheaper recipe as long as you have a sufficient supply of platinum. Likewise, atomic alloy is made from tungsten. Instead of going up the entire chain, we have 0 pieces of tungsten, so we can't make atomic alloys yet. For the time being, our mechanism factories are all kind of slow. They take like 10 seconds per operation, and while they do three operations at a time, that's still not ideal. However, mechanism has very powerful speed and energy upgrades. They go up to 8 in a machine, and if you put all 8 in a machine, it uses the same amount of energy per operation. It just does it 10 times faster. So that's a pretty good deal, right? Effectively, it turns one machine into 10. So I'm going to upgrade all of our machines with a max stack of speed and energy upgrades. These have the default recipes, so they're pretty darn cheap. Next up on our journey to the iridescent altar is the thermal evaporation plant. This turns water into brine, and then it can further process brine. But I think for now we actually want it in brine form, not in whatever turns it into, lithium or something like that. So if we just make one of these, we can heat it with the quest reward, and I think we electrolyze it and can make shards out of it. All right, so the shards are normally part of ore processing, but we don't do much ore processing in this pack. We get our ores as ingots, so yeah, it doesn't really matter. Anyways, let's not get ahead of ourselves and make the thermal plant. I recall this uses a lot of steel casings. Nope, no steel casing. I think that it used to be that the thermal evaporation block uses 1 steel casing per 4. Maybe I'm making this up. But all things said, it looks pretty cheap. The quest calls for a pretty short one, but I'm a big fan of go big or go home, so we're going to make a max height thermal evaporation tower. I believe that's like 22 units tall or something. The thermal evaporation plant, one of those weird multi-blocks in that it is even in size. Almost everything else is, you know, 1x1, 3x3, 5x5, 7x7. Nope, this one's 4x4, just to mess with you. Oh well. Max height is actually 18, so I think right now it is 3, so I need 15 more layers. 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and I'm a little short on casing. And 15. All right, so this needs water input. We're going to give it water via lasers because our laser water pump already pumps, you know, a literally infinite amount of water, right? So we look that up. Might not have needed the range upgrade on second thought, and it starts producing brine. In fact, it's so tall that just off the heat of existing, it produces brine at a non-trivial rate. But that's way too slow. So we can speed it up with one of these resistive heaters. I believe they output heat on any side. So the green dot, if memory serves me right, is the energy input. And then we just tell it how much energy we want to give it. 500 RF a tick. The more energy you give it, the hotter it gets naturally, and it causes the temperature to go up, which causes the brine production to go up. Cool. So now that we have brine, next step is to electrolyze it. And it electrolyzes into sodium and chlorine. For now, we want the chlorine. The sodium, we can dump excess. Maybe we'll find these for later. Probably not. So anyways, sodium and chlorine. We can take those and let's put our upgrades into the electrolytic separator. This machine upgrades a bit differently than the others. It scales exponentially in speed with the number of speed upgrades. So this goes up to 256x speed. It does maintain efficiency as far as I know, whereas like these only go up to 10x. But yeah, it just means that it is crazy stupid fast. All right, so anyways, we wanted the chlorine. The chlorine is to make, like we combine it with hydrogen to make hydrogen chloride. The hydrogen will come from electrolyzing some water. I'm going to use a couple gas tanks, both as tanks as a buffer and just as a like one block gas pipe. I think the tanks are buffed in this pack. The elite one holds a lot more than I'm used to. I'm used to the ultimate one only holding 512,000. I'm actually curious. How much does the ultimate tank hold? Twice as much as elite. Checks out. Well, yeah, this is a relatively large amount. I mean, effectively it's in millibuckets, but it's a gas and not a liquid. Anyways, we pipe all that into a chemical infuser that turns it into hydrogen chloride. I don't know why I'm making so incredibly much hydrogen chloride. There's literally no way we will use it all, but I think the hydrogen chloride comes out the front here, so let's get a tank and store that as well. The whole purpose of this hydrogen chloride is to get sent into a chemical injection chamber. So I can't make the ender gas conduit yet. We'll have to make do with the pressurized variant, but the output the front. And there are native mechanism pipes, of course, that can do this as well, but I prefer to use conduits where possible. Anyways, this sends it into a chemical injection chamber. Let's give it power and the usual upgrades. So this machine, because it consumes gases, gets to take gas upgrades as well, which reduce the amount of gas it uses to do things. Heat and energy upgrades through their usual goodness, and the factory turns it into a factory variant. All right, so we take gases in there. Items will take, it doesn't really matter, in the top, out the side, sure. The purpose of this, though, is that it used to 4x process ore. Again, I don't really care about 4x processing ore. I do care about the fact that these empowered Inori crystals require titanium shards to make. Nothing else in particular. Notice. So drop in rutile ore and it turns it into titanium shards. It uses quite little hydrogen chloride with upgrades, although I mean it's using it faster than we're making it. I think our bottleneck in producing it is this thing. We're making 100 millibuckets per tick of brine, and even that's not enough. Kind of funny. Oh well, if we need more, we can turn up our brine production by turning up the heat. But generally speaking, like this might literally be the last time I use this machine. I mean, I guess for certain rare ores, 4x processing it is like valuable, but the thing is, after doing this, you have to purify it with oxygen, and it's not that I don't have oxygen, I'm literally throwing oxygen away, but then we have to, you know, there's just more steps involved, and it's generally speaking easier just to get more ore. But now that we have those shards, we can enrich some Inori and work our way even closer, in fact, with the next quest, to the iridescent altar. Unfortunately, we are out of time for today, so the altar will have to wait for tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this foray into mechanism that we're starting today, and look forward to what we have to do tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.